Imagine looking with one of the most reliable and best telescopes in the direction of our neighboring star, the Magellanic Cloud, and not only does an object appear in front of your lens, but a strange, billowing and ring shape. Do you think of a cosmic jellyfish, a ring-shaped object signature of a previously unknown object, or a cosmic nebula? Like the researchers who first spotted the object J06246948, they felt at a loss. No one knew what it was really. No one had an answer. But when you look outside your own cosmic front door and see something you've never seen before, it can be a little unsettling. And since the Magellanic Cloud is just about a stone's throw as galaxies go, and probably hundreds of professional or amateur astronomers are looking in this direction each and every day, then suddenly there is something huge for which we have no explanation. The craziest part is that this thing is probably up there already, we just can't see it yet. Astronomers who hope to use the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, or ASCAP telescope, to study detailed features of the large Magellanic Cloud made this unusual discovery. ASCAP was a new generation radio telescope. It was even designed to discover entirely new features of the universe. After all, no one had thought this ring-shaped object. ASCAP makes use of its advanced phased array feed technology to be able to observe a much larger area of the sky in a single field of view. That means astronomers can map the sky over large areas at once faster and in greater detail than ever before. ASCAP allows us to find faint and distant objects, such as the formation, magnetic fields, or workings of dark matter and dark energy. With this telescope, you can now observe energy in whole new dimensions. ASCAP also is onto fast-moving things in the cosmos, like fast radio bursts and pulsars, all things you can monitor quickly in large areas of the sky. In the future, due to real-time detection, we'll learn more about the source of these mysterious phenomena, both delighted and shocked. When the telescope picked up some completely different effects from what had been expected, the researchers were surprised. Almost perfectly circular radio object was shown by the Sky Survey. The researchers, in an initial statement, called the object a strange radio circle, or ORC. But after more and more observing J06246948 had to be something entirely different. In space, there have only been discovered 5 ORCs, and the J06246948 ring was clearly different at a first glance. What are ORCs? They are a completely new category of cosmic objects, odd radio circles, ORCs. In 2020, researchers from Western Sydney University and the Australian CSIRO organisation proved these radio-astronomical objects for the first time, both almost perfect circular disks and disks, with brightening in some places, and in some case, a galaxy in the centre of the circles are these objects. When they were first discovered, researchers called these objects odd radio circles, their name because they did not match the profile of any other known astronomical body. These phenomena are completely round as such, and are known only in space from supernova remnants, planetary nebulae, rings around stars, protoplanetary disks or dice galaxies. None of these known types of objects are ORCs. They are new class of astronomical objects. Yet this doesn't mean they're new to space. We've just never seen or been able to detect them because we don't have the technology. Also observed, with the ASCAP telescope, were images from a sky continuum survey, in which ORCs 1, 2, and 3 appeared. Archival images of the galaxy cluster Abell 2142 picked up on another circular radio source, which it named ORC4. But that data wasn't from the ASCAP telescope, it was from the giant meter-wave radio telescope in the Indian state of Maharashtra. The GMRT has 30 parabolic antennas, each 45 m in diameter, equipped with 30 MIDI array feed for receiving radio waves from 30 MHz to 1.5 GHz. The 2 central galaxies among the 4 ORCs are symmetric, while 2 ORCs are circular and symmetric. They are a partial filled ring, ORCs 1, 2, and 4 uniform disk, ORC3 as Fig. 1c. These objects are clearly very close to ORCs 1 and 2, and either they belong together, or they are gravitationally bound to a body that did not rotate and is somehow at rest with respect to the Sun. ORC4 is approximately 4.2 billion light-years from the center of its host galaxy and is itself 1.1x 0.9 million light-years in. Now, these objects are giant. No one actually knows exactly what they are quite yet. However, some evidence in favor of spherical ORCs and in consequence of a spherical wave from a transient event. Such transient events are phenomena like fast radio bursts, gamma-ray bursts, and neutron star mergers. Australian scientists also note that ORCs may also be part of jets of radio galaxies or blazars, but that is not yet certain. There are likely many more of these objects, and further studies are needed, said the researchers. The more of them we manage to find, the better we'll be able to determine what ORCs really are and where they come from. An intergalactic supernova. We return to object J06246948, this time in the region near the large Magellanic Cloud. So if this is not an ORC, what is it? The most interesting explanation, and the one I find most likely, is that this object is the remnant of an intergalactic supernova. Perhaps a star exploded at the edge of the outer regions of the Magellanic Cloud, leaving this round radio object. Radio object is an astronomical object, being a source of intense radio radiation. So radiation is the main component, but usually it's less material in nature. It's particularly intriguing to assume that this radio object is the remnant of a Type Ia supernova. Type Ia supernova is a thermonuclear explosion of a white dwarf star that surrounds a companion star in a binary star system and became a critical mass by absorbing a matter from a companion. An explosion origin can explain the observed ring-shaped radio remnant at the edge of the Magellanic Cloud as a shock wave is driven and material is ejected into the surrounding interstellar space. Or a superflare. After all, the theory of the interstellar supernova is not yet completely certain. There's another exciting explanation, according to the research team. This object, for example, could be the result of superflare activity from a nearby star in our Milky Way. A superflare is a very powerful outburst from a star. We're talking about flares that are many times more intense than the strongest flares we've seen with our sun. They are powerful eruptions, releasing a massive amount of energy, sometimes in a very short period of time, and often accompanied by intense X-ray and other high-energy particle emission. Stars that are significantly very active magnetically do flare with superflares. This mysterious ring-shaped object near the Magellanic Cloud isn't that far away from our Milky Way, and it's certainly plausible that the thing is a remnant of superflare activity. Indeed, a strong shock wave and high-energy particles could have been ejected into the surrounding space during this outburst, so a ring-shaped radio remnant could have resulted. But this wouldn't conflict with our hypothesis that the star that caused the flare wasn't very far from our solar system, certainly not more than a few hundred light-years away. But of course it naturally inquires as to whether such a flaring could be dangerous to us, and here the experts say it's all clear. It's still too far away, a few hundred light-years away, but our Earth has that protective shield as well. It means that our planet is reliably blocking even the comparably weaker flares that can come from the Sun and protect life on the surface of this globe. Natural or technological fast radio bursts. Fast radio bursts, FRBs for short, are not to be missed when we look at the most exciting radio objects in space. Moreover, these phenomena have been observed relatively recently. The first FRBs were discovered in 2007, when astronomers were trawling through data from the Parkes Observatory in Australia. But they found an event that was brief, of only a few milliseconds, but did release a great deal of energy. Since then, further FRBs have been discovered by a variety of telescopes around the globe. That involved the best radio telescopes Earth has: Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment in Canada, and Very Large Array in the USA are covered in these. But these could show the flashes, but were not able to determine what their exact nature and origin were. We have several theories as to where FRBs come from, but some scientists think they come from neutron stars or black holes, and others think they're generated by more exotic objects, such as magnetars or even the collision of neutron stars. FRBs, though, with their enormous energy release, are unusual in the amount of energy they release, in short duration, and are unlike anything that has yet been discovered and studied. Meanwhile, some circles have discussed the possibility that some FRBs might be techno-signatures, or even evidence of extraterrestrial technology. And some of these FRBs had really wonderful repetition rates and frequency patterns, so that's what motivated me to think about this. Such strong signals would be generated by an advanced civilization on purpose, accidentally, or in the course of technology. FRB 121002 is one of the famous FRBs to which we pay particular attention to because of its unusual repetition frequency and pattern. And it was recorded as having a 16-day repetition frequency of 4 days, meaning that they heard the flash, then there was 12 days of silence. It was the only FRB so far found to be repeating in this regular manner, and still is today. However, FRB 12E102 went quiet shortly after, rendering the idea that it could be a techno-signature of extraterrestrial origin again vacuous. FRB 121102 remains strange nonetheless. It was the only brief signature we ever saw in space, so the signal may have come from some event that, it's at least the first time we've seen it, we don't know about or understand. The strange object. Near the Magellanic Cloud, the strange radio circles, the radio flashes are all discoveries that show us how much we still have to discover in space. Through space's ever-improving technologies, we can explore new space and suddenly see new structures in what we see. Of course, as we find out more about the universe, it's constantly expanding. And we may find other things in our own solar system, in the vicinity of our planet in the future, that will amaze us. Check out all the upcoming video hits and subscribe now.